Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Golden Bachelorette fans sad Joan Vassos treated Keith poorly. Golden Bachelorette fans are upset at how Joan Vassos treated a few of the men on Wednesday night. She sent home 3 fan favorites in one episode just before hometowns. Now, fans are voicing their opinions about how she treated Keith Gordon and even Mark Anderson. What is being said, and why are fans so upset with Joan? Keep reading to find out more. Fans are upset with Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos over Keith. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos said goodbye to 3 amazing men on Wednesday, and fans are not happy. Not only did some favorites leave, but many fans are not happy with her treatment of them. When Joan sent home Mark Anderson, she had a nice talk with him and sent him home before the rose ceremony ever happened. He even had a complete exit video in the car ride away from the mansion. Jonathan Roan was also eliminated, and she walked him out as well to say goodbye. He also had some departing words for fans. However, when it came time for Keith Gordon to leave, he appeared to get nothing. Joan did not walk him out. There was no exit interview aired. Nothing. Fans did not like this, as Keith was the girl dad everyone loved from night 1 when he pulled up to the mansion in a station wagon. He made a huge impression on Joan, and was even given the first impression rose. Plus, he made it to almost the final 4. Many wonder why it seemed he was given the cold shoulder. Perhaps after the season wraps up, Joan will address it, or maybe Keith will spill the tea in an exit podcast interview. Fans also upset over Mark Anderson. There are tons of fans who believe that Mark Anderson was being set up to be the Golden Bachelor. However, many also voiced that they thought it was wrong how Joan treated him when she told him the reason she was sending him home. She says he was not over his late wife. However, fans judged her for saying that when she appears to constantly talk about her late husband John. Mark has been dealing with losing his wife much longer than Joan has. Overall, fans had a lot of anger toward Joan this past episode over her choices. Fans of the Golden Bachelorette were left heartbroken after the way Joan Vassos treated Keith during one of the show's most emotional episodes. As one of the frontrunners, Keith had quickly won over the hearts of many viewers with his quiet confidence, genuine charm, and heartfelt connection with Joan. But what was meant to be a heartwarming journey toward love turned into a roller coaster of emotions, leaving fans both confused and deeply disappointed. Joan Vassos, a poised and elegant woman in her late 60s, had captivated the audience early on with her grace, vulnerability, and willingness to embrace this new chapter of her life. Her story, having overcome the loss of her husband, raised her children, and now seeking a second chance at love, resonated with so many. Fans rooted for her, hoping that she'd find a partner who could share in her golden years with joy, respect, and understanding. Keith, a retired architect with a passion for travel and family, seemed to be a perfect match for Joan. Their early conversations were filled with laughter, shared values, and meaningful glances that made it seem like they were truly connecting. For weeks, viewers watched their bond develop and deepen. Keith wasn't the most flashy or outspoken contestant, but his thoughtful gestures and genuine care for Joan set him apart. He wasn't just in this for a moment of fame, he was there for Joan. However, the fairy tale took a sharp turn in a recent episode, and fans are still trying to process what exactly went wrong. The drama unfolded during the one-on-one date that many believed would seal the deal between Joan and Keith. The setting was picturesque, a candlelit dinner at a vineyard, with the sun setting behind rolling hills, casting a golden glow over the couple. The air was filled with possibility, the perfect backdrop for a romantic connection. But as the conversation progressed, things took an unexpected shift. Joan, who had always seemed so open and caring toward Keith, suddenly became distant. Her warm demeanor was replaced by something colder, more guarded. Keith, sensing the change, tried to keep the conversation light, but the tension between them was palpable. He brought up how much he appreciated their connection and how he was excited about their future, but Joan's responses were terse, almost dismissive. Fans watching from home were on the edge of their seats, wondering what had triggered this change. Was it something Keith had said or done? Had Joan decided she wasn't ready for a serious commitment after all? Or was there something deeper going on that hadn't been revealed yet? Whatever the reason, it was clear that Joan was no longer as invested in Keith as she once had been. The breaking point came when Joan began to question Keith's intentions, asking him if he was truly ready for a committed relationship. Keith, taken aback by the sudden line of questioning, assured her that he was there for the right reasons and that he saw a future with her, but Joan didn't seem convinced. Her responses became sharper, and she hinted at doubts about whether Keith could provide the kind of life she envisioned for herself in the coming years. It wasn't just the words Joan used that upset fans, it was her tone. There was a sense of finality, almost cruelty, in the way she shut Keith down. God was the warm, compassionate woman viewers had come to know. In her place was someone who seemed detached and even harsh toward a man who had only shown her kindness and respect. The look of hurt on Keith's face was impossible to miss. He clearly hadn't expected this turn of events, and neither had the audience. Social media quickly lit up with reactions to the episode. Many fans expressed their sadness and frustration at how Joan had treated Keith, especially after the bond they had seemed to form. "Joan, what happened? You and Keith were perfect together," one fan tweeted. Another wrote, "I can't believe Joan did Keith like that. He didn't deserve it." Some viewers speculated that Joan's sudden shift in attitude might have been influenced by behind-the-scenes factors, perhaps even pressure from the producers to stir up drama. Others wondered if Joan had developed stronger feelings for one of the other contestants and was trying to distance herself from Keith to make room for a different connection. But even if that were the case, fans felt that Keith deserved better than to be blindsided in such a cold manner. As the episode aired, the hashtag Justice for Keith began trending, with fans rallying around the contestant who had been so gracious throughout the entire process. Keith, for his part, remained calm and composed during the difficult conversation, never lashing out or showing bitterness. But his hurt was clear, and it was this quiet dignity that made viewers root for him even more. While The Golden Bachelorette has had its fair share of dramatic moments, this particular incident struck a chord with fans because of the emotional investment they had in both Joan and Keith. Joan's sudden change of heart felt like a betrayal not just of Keith, but of the journey they had all been on together. Many fans felt that Joan had been unfair in her treatment of Keith, leading to an outpouring of sympathy for him in the aftermath of the episode. In the days following the airing, fans continued to express their disappointment with Joan's actions, hoping that she might offer some explanation or apology. Some even speculated that Keith might be brought back later in the season for a second chance, though that remains to be seen. Ultimately, this emotional episode served as a reminder that even in the search for love during one's golden years, heartbreak and miscommunication can still rear their heads. Fans remain hopeful that Keith will find the love he deserves, whether on or off the show, and that Joan will reflect on her actions and the impact they've had, not just on Keith, but on everyone rooting for them both.